Kia ora and welcome to the Beer Jerk Beer of the Week Drink Along. I'm Luke.
I'm Joe.
This week we're drinking a beer from the good folks at Heyday in collaboration with Southwood Distilling and Agrasea. It is Underwater Forest, a peated kelp stout.
Yeah, delicious.
Delicious. Yeah, pretty excited about this one.
Yeah, it is exciting. Sorry, you just pronounced it Southard, which of course it is, but
Southwood.
I read it as Southwood.
Yeah.
Because I'm like that. I was thinking about it.
So the distillery that is based at Heyday, they do some delightful gins. And so it's a collaboration with those guys who use the Clonia radiata seaweed in one of their gins, and a collaboration with Agrasea. Cheers.
Cheers.
Who are the people that grow and process the seaweed. So nice to have a savoury stout.
Yeah, because you're like allergic to crustaceans, right? So you've never had an oyster stout.
I mean, I'm not allergic, I'm just vegetarian.
Oh,
So,
should have said.
So, yeah, I've never had an oyster stout. I've been a vegetarian since I was about 4. Just kind of wouldn't fancy one. I mean, I remember talking to a friend that was like trying to get me to drink an oyster stout one day, and he's like, well, it's not like the beer's got oysters like mushed into it. They're like, they put the oyster in and take them out. And I was like, well, do you know what tea is?
Yeah.
Or beer for that matter. There's no malt mixed up in beer. So,
No, good point.
yeah, I wouldn't want to eat
Fish
oysters
sauce.
or fish sauce. No. But yeah, that is the classic, the classic New Zealand stout, isn't it? Oyster stout.
Yeah, I guess it's a great way to add a bit of sort of salinity and umami into a sort of relatively classically sweet and desserty style.
Yeah.
Stout, like, yeah, it was Irish dry stout and stuff, but yeah, especially even in the back of this, you've got that chocolatey, biscuity kind of sweet character.
Well, that's it. It's not overly dry at all.
No.
When this first came out and I tried it, I was expecting it to be like a proper big Irish dry stout, but it's got, and like modern palates, people like pastry stouts. Like, yeah, of course this is definitely not sweet by any stretch, but it's not, it's not as dry as one might expect, and it's got a lovely body. It's rounded.
Yeah, and it has that evolution. It sort of, at first, comes across that familiar chocolatey, biscuity flavour, but then it does wash away in a bit of salinity and sort of savouriness, which is quite nice.
And it's not over the top. I think a lot of people would be scared to see both the words peat or seaweed on a beer. But they're just like beautifully integrated with the malt and just with the rest of the recipe.
Yeah, it's a real delicate smoke that sort of builds on your palate the more you sip, rather than wax you over the face and like some smoked beers.
Yeah, and of course the one that you'll have all drank is Rex Attitude that we had as a beer of the week in the box nearly 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah,
10 years.
Long way back. Which is the Yeasty Boys Rex Attitude with 100% peat smoked malt, which is just madness. Generally when you're using smoked malt in a beer, you really wouldn't use more than about 10%. And many beers, it's definitely in the single figures. This would be, well, I'd have to ask the brewer, but I'd imagine less than 5% peat smoked malt in this recipe. And it works beautifully. It's just got the, as I said, like integrated, it's not a scary ashtray sort of thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers to this. Lovely. And we've had this out the chiller for, I mean, it's like, what, 15 degrees today? We've had it out the chiller almost an hour.
Yeah.
So trying to sort of get it towards that 10 degree mark. Because it wouldn't be as open as this if it was super cold. It would be sort of much tighter and probably chocolatey.
Yeah, really important thing that you want to, you want to let beers like this warm up a little bit before drinking them. And I was reading a bit about Agrasea as well, which seemed like a really cool company.
Yeah, so like growing and cultivating seaweed and kelp.
Yeah, well, it's just this Clonia radiata, which is a kind of brown seaweed that's native to New Zealand and also a bit around Australia, South Africa. And it's just, like many kinds of kelp seaweed, incredibly nutrient dense. And they just take this one single product and they make all sorts of stuff with it. So they do, the main business is in agriculture. So it's a really fantastic fertilizer for pasture, but also for animal feed, for horses and cows, give them glossy coats and keep them healthy. For bees, cosmetics that are made out of this Eclonia. So just absolutely everything, and also to use in cooking. I don't know if do you cook with ocean foliage much?
I guess you use nori in sort of Japanese.
Yeah.
Furikake has like miniature strips of nori in it as a seasoning. But yeah, just a great way to add some sort of savory character and a bit of salt to your food.
Yeah, I'd love to cook with more seaweed, but it's not a thing, like, I often just don't think of seaweed from one year to the next.
No.
And obviously it's not, like, easily available.
No. Yeah, I could imagine, like, you know, like you have like cabbage leaves in a soup or a stew.
Yeah.
And you could probably get a similar kind of chew and effect.
And it's just there. It's in the sea. It's there for the taking.
Yeah.
Go out, scoop it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Screw fishing. Just seaweed gathering.
Are you vegetarian?
Well, that's it. Like, instead of going fishing, I could just go seaweed gathering with like a trident and a kayak.
Yeah.
Yeah, seaweed, very cool ingredient in beer, and you don't come across it very often.
No, not at all.
But works perfectly for this. Seaweed goza would be spot on.
Yeah, did someone? No, someone did a sea buckthorn goza.
Yeah.
Different plant you could go and harvest.
Another cool ingredient. I was going to give up making these stupid videos, just like go harvesting stuff. It's, why bother trying to earn money from selling beer on the internet when I could just like go straight to the source and get free food from the ocean.
Yeah.
And Heyday, cool bunch of people. It's Hannah, who's one of the co-founders, that comes up with all the really cool artwork and regularly wins design awards for her cool stuff. And one of the breweries that I just love seeing the new releases come out because they do eclectic stuff, unusual stuff, good innovation approach to recipe design and interesting styles, and the cans always look cool as shit.
Yeah, their current seasonal sort of range is lagers are being released alongside sours.
Yeah,
but it's not just like fruited sours. It's like cherry and balsamic or charred oak lemon and interesting stuff. And I think the lagers are getting like, who's that director with the cool style?
Like film director?
Yeah.
A Kurosawa?
No, the
Tarantino? Scorsese?
No, none of
Do you
those.
remember Brothers did a beer called Scorsese?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's like a cool like aesthetic on the lager cans.
Oh, Wes Anderson.
Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
So Wes Anderson themed lager cans and sort of trippy color pattern on the sour cans. They're very cool. I keep an eye out for them. Yeah.
And I think these days with the recession, doom and gloom, it's all a bit depressing. It's fucking dry July, as if like dry January and Stoptober weren't bad enough.
Like a quarter of the year, people just don't buy beer. Mean.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
So good.
Maybe just try drinking in moderation all the time.
Yeah, well, they will soon because all the bars will shut and all the independent retailers.
There is a bit of doom and gloom, and the knock-on effect of that is that breweries are releasing less interesting cool beers because it's kind of scary and it's risky to put yourself out there releasing a cherry and balsamic sour beer when you could just do another 4.9% hazy pale ale and it will sell out. And big kudos to Heyday for still pushing the envelope. We're doing some cool innovative stuff. And talking of innovative stuff, and that we've been going for almost 10 years, this Beer of the Week subscription is pretty cool. And you will be surprised if you knew how few subscribers we have. We don't really have many people at all drinking along with us every Thursday. So it's awesome that you're here watching our video. Thanks for drinking along. If you've got a mate that might also enjoy this, please tell him to join. Tell him to get involved. It's like...
This is way more fun together.
Well, it costs almost nothing. Yeah. It's like you could buy a beer or get the beer slightly cheaper from us and have the whole story behind it.
Yeah.
So get your mates involved. We'd love to grow our subscription even a little bit. It would be really cool.
And it's a great way to enjoy things by sharing them and discussing them. Like I've had this beer before. I've not thought about it as much as I have just now.
And so I might as well blank. I think I just had a picture of what was happening in your brain, which is just like a cool cartoon of me like going foraging in the ocean for seaweed, which is just what you're clearly really enjoying. And I was going to say, it's like the opposite of binge drinking. It is 1 beer per week. We've been talking a bit this week about Dry July, things like that, and how I've seen some brands internationally sort of promoting, stealthy alcohol in July and then get shit-faced in August. But it's kind of like crash diets or anything else. Of course, it's fantastic for all the people that are teetotal and choose not to drink for any sort of reason. But yeah, drinking to excess is never healthy. So it's a much better thing to have a few beers per week rather than just going cold turkey and thinking, oh, I'm healthy now after 4 weeks and I can just get wrecked all the time again. So drinking 1 beer of the week and thinking about it like a book club for interesting beers is a fun thing to do.
It is.
What else is going on?
What else is going on? Beer Week, Auckland Beer Week, sorry, not for everyone, is towards the end of this month.
Well, it's for everyone, they just need to come to Auckland.
Come to Auckland, and honestly, it's like an impressive, they dropped the mailers off, I don't know, pamphlets.
Pamphlets, yeah.
With the schedule, and every day is chocker, so it's going to be a good week in Auckland. A
lot of cool stuff going on. Obviously, loads of cool stuff going on here. Next time you're at the Small Glass Tap Room, pop in, grab one. We've got a big stack of them. Thanks to Marie for organising everything with Auckland Beer Week. Legend. Saturday, Bridget Run Club are doing a big run afters. So our run club's been going for 5.5 years. Every Monday we run 5Ks, drink some beers here at the tap room. And last month we started the first Saturday of each month. We do a slightly longer run and drink free coffee beforehand. Nice social event. Have a beer or some pizza afterwards, including lots of non-alc options.
So cool.
And you've been putting together some cool boxes.
Yeah, so in a little pushback against Dry July, I want to push Try July. So
Try July?
Yeah, people try some new stuff. So whether that is some non-alc beer.
We also have non-alc beer.
Or some beer from Small Gods, who you might not have tried much from, although if you watch these, you probably have. And
I do wonder if, like, the 100 people that watch this video every week, are they drinking along, or are people just like sitting there with a glass of water, not drinking along with us?
Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to ask them all.
Well, yeah.
Is this
do comment. Comment below, like and subscribe. We have Small Gods mixes.
Yeah, Small Gods, other things, so IPA mix, variety, so got a ton of fresh beer in those.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff you might have tried, stuff you might have tried 3 years ago and not revisited because it's core range. So yeah, there's always something new to try.
Yeah, so watch out for Joe listing stuff. It'll be popping up just over the coming weeks.
Yeah.
And that's about it, I think.
I think so.
Great work, Heyday. Keep it up. Absolutely loving this. Thanks for joining us. Cheers.